Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel, Smishak's Custom Bakes. Rick Smishak here. Today we're going to talk about some of the things you might need if you wanted to make baits for yourself, these soft plastic baits. So first of all, let's talk about some of the safety gear. One piece you never see me wear in the videos, and it's this respirator. Okay, it's really hard to talk on the video and in a manner you can hear if I was wearing this. But any time where the fan isn't working very well, I'll put this on. Where if the wind's blowing the wrong direction, it's blowing into the fan, well then I don't get the ventilation that I should in here, and so I'll put on the respirator. If I'm doing open pour molds, then I'll generally wear the respirator then too, because my face is right down there and I'm watching what I'm doing. But you really want to wear the respirator. If you can smell the fumes, you want to be wearing the respirator. Okay. One night I didn't. Actually, I didn't have a respirator yet, and the fumes were really bad that night, and I had a headache for 3 weeks. For a week, every time I coughed, my brain hurt. Okay, wear your respirator. Right? I made a mistake. I'm telling you that as a cautionary tale. If you can smell the fumes, wear the respirator. Okay. The other thing, this is something you see me wear all the time, is a good heat glove. Right. These ones are up to like 700 and some degrees that they'll protect your hands against, and they're long enough to where they protect a good portion of your forearm as well. Okay. I've seen pictures on Facebook of guys with blisters that are extended up like this far, seriously, from burns on their hands. So you want to be careful with that. That's the safety equipment we wear. You could probably get a rubber apron too if you're really worried about it, but to protect your whole body. You get a rubber apron that goes all the way to the floor. I'm not too worried about that. But the next thing you're going to need, well, you're going to need some plastisol. And I buy my plastisol in 5-gallon buckets. Okay, you can get it as, I think, as small a container as a gallon at a time. As far as what plastisol should you buy, I mean, there's a few different brands out there, and that's a valid question, I guess. My suggestion for that would be to buy some samples from various different companies. MF Manufacturing has dead-on plastics, bait plastics. Either Lurecraft or Lureworks sells. Actually, I think they both sell plastisol. Do it. They sell plastisol. Try them. See what works for you. I buy from bait plastics because it's as far as I can tell, it's the best bang for the buck when you're buying 3 5-gallon buckets at a time. As an example, there's another company that I bought from that I saved $30 per bucket delivered to my door over buying from them when I buy the 3 buckets from bait plastics. So you're gonna need that. You're gonna need your plastisol. Make sure you mix it, because if you don't, it's just not gonna do what you want. Okay, the stuff has to be mixed up so that it works properly. So that when it dries, when it cools, it's not tacky. It turns into the soft plastic, just like this stuff here. There's no tackiness at all on these. And if you don't mix it properly, you're going to end up with issues with your baits. Okay, so just whatever it is, whatever plastisol you buy, just buy it based on your needs. The bait plastics and the dead-on both, you can reheat a bunch of times without having to put heat stabilizer in. They're just made that way. You can't. And when I was practicing in the beginning, that was a big deal. It's not such a big deal anymore. Not nearly as big of a deal as it was. But you're also going to need something to stir your plastisol because you're cooking it. I use butter knives. I just bought some at, I think it was Target. You can get them at Walmart. You can get like a 4-pack for like 88 cents at Walmart. We paid like $1 for 2 at Target, so we screwed that one up. You're going to need something to heat your plastisol in. Okay, I cooked the plastisol in a microwave. This microwave is like $50. Okay, I initially bought the Anchor cups, but then I bought some Pyrex cups because I do some open pours, right? And you can see that the spout is shaped differently on between the Anchor and the Pyrex, okay? With the Pyrex, it's narrower, the spout is narrower, and it's easier to control the stream that you're pouring into the mold with the Pyrex. So that's why I bought some Pyrex. You're obviously going to need molds. They make several different types of molds. You can make molds out of plaster of Paris. I choose to not do that because I don't care if I drop it on this soft mat. I'm probably going to break it if I drop it. Okay, if I drop this on the soft mat, on this rubber mat, nothing's going to happen to it. If I drop it on the concrete, it might dent corners, whatever, but it should still be okay. These ones here, I could probably toss these around wherever I wanted; they'd be okay. They're made out of some sort of composite material. Now these ones came from Moose Ridge Molds. I found them on Facebook. But I don't do a ton of hand pouring. I do mostly injection. And speaking of injection, if you're going to inject, you need injectors, okay? This is a 3-ounce injector from Bass Tackle. This is the first one I bought. It'll fill a couple different molds, even the biggest ones. The ones that use the most plastisol. But if I had it to do over again, I would have just bought this first. This dual injector first. Why? Because you can take it apart and you have two single injectors. Okay? I probably didn't need this 3-ounce ever. Okay, this one I could have just taken it apart and used it. But this one is a whole lot more expensive than this one, so you might have to start with a single, like I did. Another tool you might need are these. These are sprue extenders that I made. I'll do a short video sometime on how to make these. Stupid easy. I soldered mine together. You can see the solder there, but you don't have to. You would use fewer of the couplers. If you didn't, you only need a couple of them. But if you don't solder them together, when you go pull them out of the mold, whatever, they're going to fall apart, and I knew that would irritate me. So I just soldered mine right off the bat. You're also going to need some worm oil. It's best to buy that from whoever you're buying your plastisol from. Just get their worm oil. It's made for their, it's part of their formula for their plastisols. Okay, and here's something else too. There's a bottle brush. You're going to need to clean your injectors from time to time, and a bottle brush is the easiest way to do that. I got a pack of 3 of these at the Dollar Tree. Okay, for $1, right? Dollar Tree. Let's talk about these. These are my this is a temperature probe, and this is a temperature gun. Okay, laser gun. Okay. I have 2 of these, and even though it says on the package it says instant read, it doesn't instant read. Okay. I use these when I need to be precise on my temperatures. Usually that's when I'm shooting a laminate. Certain laminates, one is usually when one color has to be hotter than the other, and I'll use these two temperature probes. I have another one up there to check the temperature. Then most of the time I just use this. You can't just do like this and shoot on the top. You need to stir the plastisol while you're checking it, while you're holding the trigger, and watch the temperatures because they'll change. You'll see different numbers. But you'll get a feel for what the overall temperature is, and this is probably all you need to start with. But then let's talk about our additives and the stuff we use. Like I use measuring spoons here. I bought the metal ones for measuring the glitter and the powders. Because the plastic ones, sometimes they get static. It's just be hard to clean the glitter off. So I got metal ones, dirt cheap, couple of bucks. Our additives. Well, let's go ahead and move these guys over here. First, we have our colorants. And you can see I have other colorants lined up over there. This first row here, black, white, red, yellow, and blue. We have black and white plus our 3 primary colors, and technically speaking, we can make any color we want with those 5 bottles. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's always easy to match doing that, because it's not. But then what you can do, if you have difficulties with that, or if you just want, like green pumpkin, there's various shades of green pumpkin, all right? These are basically, there's blue, there's a couple greens there, chartreuse, greens, purples, chartreuse, blues. Those are all pretty standard colors for bass fishing lures. Those shades, but basically just buy what you think you're going to need. Okay, if you're just a hobbyist, don't go hog wild like I did. Well, I didn't really go hog wild, but you know, I'm doing custom stuff, so I need more colorants. And I bought mine over a period of time. I didn't buy them all at once. I bought a few here, a few there. But the other thing you need to watch out for when you're buying colorants is bleeders. Okay, these here are all made with pigments, and this one is the cherry red dye, is made with a dye instead of a pigment. Making it with a dye, when they make this color with a dye, that means it's a bleeder. Okay, if you take these, like say cherry bomb, I use this stuff in cherry bomb. If you take cherry bomb and put it in with green pumpkin worms, in the morning your green pumpkin worms are going to have red in them. It's just that simple. So you can still use these dyes. You just have to keep these separate from other baits, keep them bagged, whatever. And then we have glitter. Okay, I have 3 different sizes of the same color glitter, black, right here. The different sizes add different textures into your colors. If you put a ton of this big black stuff in there, it'll darken the color. Actually, if you put a ton of any of this black in, it'll darken the color. But the bigger stuff will do it quicker. But again, use your colors like buy the colors that you're gonna use. If you like purple in your base, buy a couple sizes of purple, or all 3 of them. So you'll need a few glitters, and then we also have powders. We have pearl powders, we have highlights, pearl powders and highlights. Yeah. Oh, yep, that's it. Oh no, I also have a UV pigment. See, I knew that was there, but I only put that in one color. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. That's the secret one. What else do we have? Oh, let's look at our various types of clamps. Okay. This one here, we have an Irwin quick grip clamp. You just squeeze it, squeeze this trigger, it releases, slides super easy. But if you notice, see this jaw moving? See this one? I don't know if you see, this one doesn't move as much, but this one moves quite a bit, right? When you clamp a mold, these will still move, okay? If you use too much pressure with one of these, you have to be careful how much you use it. You can still flash the mold. The mold will move, the jaws will move, and then you have bad baits. Okay, so you have to be careful. If you're going to buy these, there's nothing wrong with using them. You just have to be careful how much pressure you're putting on the mold, right? Well, sometimes I tend to use too much pressure and I flash the molds. So I went and bought these Irwins. Okay, these work pretty good. Okay, they slide nice and easy, and they don't. The jaws move just a little bit on these, but not much. You can still flash the mold using these. But then I saw these over at Home Depot. These are Jorgensen. They don't move as well along the bar. Okay, you can hear the noise. Okay, it's harder to get them to move, but these, the jaws don't move. Okay, when I clamp molds with these, I can put as much pressure as I want, and I don't flash the mold. It just doesn't happen. Okay. So the disadvantage to these is you can't really move them as well. So when I clamp the molds, I leave this part here, so just in case I can't get it to move back, I can unscrew this a little bit more and give myself a little more play to move it. So again, pros and cons to everything there. What else have we talked about? Oh, we haven't talked about salt. You're gonna need some salt if if you're making Senkos or the stick base. It's just they base every company that makes them puts salt in them. You might like salt in other baits too. Some guys swear by having the salt, tons of it in there. The more the better. Other guys just don't want it at all. But if you're one of the guys that likes the salt in it, buy yourself a bunch of it. I bought a 50-pound bag at Tractor. Pardon me, it was Tractor Supply. And then I used a coffee grinder to grind this up. Okay. It's super fine. It takes like seconds to do each one. Okay. You just put that stuff in your baits. Boom, there you go. Okay. And that was a whole lot cheaper. I paid like $8 for the 50-pound bag of salt. And I can't even get this container here shipped to me for $8. Okay. But if I ordered it from Lure Works again, I couldn't even get it shipped for $8. It costs a fortune to ship that stuff. Well, small fortune. So I think we've covered just about everything that you might need. I think so. I think we've talked about pretty much everything. These are the basics. How many molds you buy is up to you. What kind of I have a little issue today with the alarm on my phone going off during the middle of this, but that's okay. We'll just do the editing and it'll be all right. So with all that said, there's tons of different stuff you could buy, but this is stuff you probably just the basics of what you need. They make aluminum molds that you can hand pour. I've seen stick molds, and you can do a lot of different effects with that. They make some companies make sand cast molds. They're cheaper, but they also put up baits that are pretty dull. The finish on the baits isn't shiny. I'm not sure why. But if I was just a hobbyist, I wouldn't care on that part. But since I'm trying to sell my baits, I have to catch the fishermen before they can go catch fish. Okay, I have to get them to buy the baits, and they're probably not going to buy dull baits, so I don't buy those molds. I buy the CNC milled aluminum because the baits come out shiny, and these things are far more durable than say a plastic purse. I think even the silicone molds eventually they tear and you have to remake them if you're not careful. But these ones here I won't ever have to remake. These ones here, they're good for life. So, but other than that, I think we pretty much have covered everything you might need to get started. So that's it. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do still have we have 2 contests going right now. One's a subscriber contest, trying to get to 250 subscribers. The other one's a naming contest on it's that Facebook color. So you check those out. Make sure you share them and put that you shared in there so you can be eligible to win. And share this video. Do like your mom's told you. Share with everybody. Share with people you like. Share with people you don't like. And until next time, tight lines and calm waters.